Good evening, Hawks fans, and welcome back to the Atlanta Sports District. I'm your host, Russell Spence, coming to you directly after our 10th straight victory, a 124 to 112 victory over the Orlando Magic, a team that was also very hot. So, to every single person that wanted to say, oh, well, the Hawks winning streak is not legitimate because they were not beating good opponents, boo boo. We just beat a very good team and absolutely had a dominant showing against this team. We ended up only winning by 12 points, but that was after some late game shenanigans with a lot of chippiness and a lot of us kind of losing our cool and getting distracted and then making some shots that were made by some deep bench guys who maybe should be playing for them. Kind of interesting that they're not playing these first round rookies, but they're playing like Javon Carter big minutes. It doesn't make a ton of sense to me. But at the end of the day, we dominated in this game from start to finish. Absolutely wonderful effort tonight. And overall, what I would like to say is this is a team that it's considered to be very good. If you look in the standings, it's supposed to be a really good team. We are so much better than this team. We are so much more well constructed. Our best player is so much better than their best player. I mean, it is just remarkable how much better we are than this team. And that's what frustrates me about the record we have, because we're behind them in the standings still, even after this victory. But we are so much better than them, and I'm hoping that comes out in the wash. So, I have a little bit of a different plan for tonight's game. Um, I want to go through and say, instead of I usually do offense defense, I had a few people mention that they would like me to start looking a little bit more at statistical analysis and things that are happening in the game. And I think that's a good idea. And so I wanted to go over those 5 pillars of winning, those key statistics that if you win those statistics, you will win the game the majority of the time. So those were shooting percentage, rebounding, assist and turnover creation, free throw creation, and rim percentage. So, if we look, we're going to start with shooting percentage. In tonight's game, we shot 46% from the field, and they shot 42. So we won that. From the three-point line, we shot 40% from three, and they shot 33. Now, Orlando is a team that usually is not amazing from the field. They're not a great shooting team. So to me, that is helpful to the Hawks in getting that done. But then you would think usually Orlando is the kind of team that wins on the margins. They win the things that aren't shooting percentage because they are not good at shooting the ball. They have to win those to win. So I wonder how the rest of those things went. Well, we'll start with free throw creation. Even though I thought this was an absolutely horrible officiated game, we had 29 free throw attempts to their 23, and we made 22 to their 18. So we destroyed them in that portion of the margins. A significant, bump in free throw rate and percentage. So then you look and you say, okay, well, what about rebounding? Orlando's a team that's been very, very consistent and good at rebounding this season. Where did that fall? We had 54 total team rebounds, and they had 40. We had 39 defensive rebounds to their 32, and 15 offensive rebounds to their 8. Okay, well, what about, they have other margins, like keeping their turnover number low, and they create a good number of assists, and they move the ball well. Well, this is the first one they kind of get us in a little bit. We had 14 total team turnovers to their 11, but we had 33 assists to their 20. So again, you look at all 5 of those pillars. The last one is rim percentage. How well did you shoot it at the rim in tonight's game? Another thing that they look and they say, we are going to be really good at this because we are extremely physical. When we look at it from a statistical standpoint, the Atlanta Hawks were 27 of 53 at the rim for 51%. And they were 26 of 52, which is 50%. So we were better than them by 1 percent point at the rim. So we look and we say we basically won, other than total team turnovers being a little bit higher for us, but then the assists, again, swing it super far in our favor. Other than that, we demolished them in every major statistical category that leads to winning. So you wonder why we beat the brakes off them, boys? That's why. So in terms of the offense, how did we create those things? How did we create those assists? Well, the ball movement was fantastic. We were playing connected. Nobody took possessions by hostage. The ball was popping from place to place. We were, invested in each other's success. For instance, there were certain players that had not a great scoring night tonight, but they didn't care because Nikhil's open and he's making shots. So let me throw it to him. And he has his career high. Oh, well, I could look for mine, but instead, so-and-so is streaking down the floor wide open for a dunk. We saw Jalen doing that where he's not having the greatest offensive output game through three quarters, and they get a steal, and he could look to go drive it himself, but instead he flips it over to Zach, and Zach gets a wide open dunk. It's things like this, the unselfish play, that have been a huge catalyst to this win, and it is what has driven the success of our entire season. When we've been successful, it's when we've been unselfish offensively. And that was another thing that happened tonight. The offense was moving the ball at an extremely high clip. 33 assists in a game has been something that we are doing very, very often, but it's something that for the rest of the NBA is an extremely rare feat. We're averaging almost 30 assists a game, and then you look at other teams in the league. We're in number one. You look at the next closest team, and they're like 26. I mean, we are moving the ball better than any team in the whole league. And I will say that's props to Quinn Snyder's scheme. A lot of what we do is hitting quick hitters and things where he just calls the right thing, and somebody's wide open, and we throw it to him, and he lays it in, and it's an assist. And so, that's a big plus in the favor of Quinn Snyder. But the big difference we've had in this run, because we've been playing unselfish all year. We're playing more unselfish now. But the big difference is in the defense, and it was the big difference tonight. The Hawks have been sensational defensively, and a lot of it is that stuff I'm talking about, giving of yourself. Being willing to play 94 feet and be extraordinarily tired by the end of that game, but because you gave everything you had, running up and down the court all night long. Dyson Daniels, Nickeil Alexander-Walker giving you that, Gabe Vincent giving you that, CJ McCollum giving you that, Zach giving you that, Mo giving you that. I mean, there were times where Paolo Banchero was coming off the floor and Jalen's guarding him 94 feet, Mo's guarding him 94 feet. That's a player who could play center guarding a player 94 feet. That's ridiculous. You never see that, but we're doing it because it helps winning. You look and you say, we're defending well at the rim. Giving a team only 50% at the rim is a very good night at the rim, especially a team that's as good at attacking the rim as the Orlando Magic are. And you look around and you see there's no open shooters. There's no open shots. We're giving up less than 20 points in a quarter, or we're giving up 21 points in a quarter. We're giving up very low three-point percentages because everything's got to close out. The effort is there. The energy is there. We're always on the floor. We're always defensive rebounding. We're crashing the offensive glass. We're doing things that help us win in the effort stats. And that's something that we were not having earlier in the season. And it has been what has pushed us ahead in these string of good play, but also it is what pushed us ahead tonight against a very good team and a win we desperately needed. Like some people have said, and I've said as well, these games against teams ahead of you in the standings, they're multiple games. This was like 2 wins because not only did we win, we gave Orlando a loss. That is huge. It was big getting a win against Milwaukee. It's now big getting a win against Orlando. If we can continue to play with this energy and this effort and getting on the floor and doing all these things that we're doing and playing unselfishly on offense, we will scare a lot of people in this NBA. And it has been truly fantastic. So now moving to the player-by-player section. We're going to talk about Corey Kispert first. So Corey only played in the first half. We did play an 11-man rotation, which is quite odd in the NBA, and I think that's the reason why they took him out of the rotation in the second half. He had 4 minutes. He scored 3 points on 1 of 3 shooting, 1 of 3 from 3. He did not record another stat and finished -4. The stint didn't go well at all. And I think that played a huge role into why he didn't play in the second half. It really didn't go well. So hopefully, I've talked about it. I would love to see us put in a way that we would never play as many bad defenders as we have been playing. I mean, 3 bad defenders in a rotation just not really what you want. And the easiest way to do that is to remove Corey Kispert from the lineup. He's just not getting it done defensively, and that's the main place that we need him to get it done because we have people who are getting it done offensively. Moving on, we will talk about Mo Gay. So Mo played only 8 minutes tonight. It was kind of a Paulo stopper in his role. They played him in minutes when we had taken like Dyson or Naw or like a really key defender off the floor. We put Mo on the floor, and his assignment was just stop Paulo because we didn't have as great of defensive infrastructure on the court. But he did not score. He only took 1 shot. He had 1 assist and 1 foul. Overall, the defense was really, really good. Didn't have a steal or a block, but it was short minutes. Did finish -8, but I was going to mention that his minutes overlapped with Kuminga, who also had a rough game tonight. Again, he does not look his full healthy self, but those minutes basically overlapped with Kuminga, and Kuminga also finished -8. So the plus minus on his was not really indicative of the way Mo played. I did think that he was very good in his defensive ability in this game. He is part of the catalyst for this energy, resurgence that we've had. And, they talked about it on the broadcast. They said, Mo Gay has to play. He has to get no matter if we have to play 15 men, Mo is to play because he's earned it. And I agree with that. Moving on, we're going to talk about Gabe Vincent. So Gabe played 10 minutes. He didn't score a point, but I thought he played very well, especially defensively. He had 1 assist, didn't have a steal or block, and finished again -6, but a lot of his minutes were overlapped with Jonathan Kuminga, who again did not have the greatest of games. And so, I mean, I really thought Gabe played well, especially, he hounds ball handlers. It's so hard to get the ball off the floor with Gabe Vincent on the court, and I love that. That's desperately what we've needed. And so, I'm excited to see how that will continue to move on. I don't know if we need him in the rotation particularly. We could go to a 9-man and remove both him and Corey from the rotation when everyone's healthy. I probably would do that and just have Naw and Dyson split the point guard minutes. But I also can understand the argument that you may want a true backup point guard, and Gabe has been giving you that and has been playing pretty well. So moving on, we're going to talk about Zach. So Zach only got 10 minutes tonight. I didn't love that decision. I thought that he was playing significantly better than Kuminga was. But he scored 2 points on 1 of 2 shooting, had 2 rebounds, no assists, no other stats, didn't record a steal or a block, but was +8. Like I said, I thought he was really fantastic, and I thought the box score, it came out in the wash. I thought that the defense was really, really upper level from Zach tonight. And at the end of the day, when you have a guy who's getting it done like that on the defensive end, and then your other guy is just struggling a bit offensively because the explosion that he is used to having is not there. You still have to kind of read that on the fly, in my opinion, and I would have gone with Zach instead of Kuminga for some of those minutes that Kuminga got extra. Next, I'm going to talk about Jock Landale. So Jock played 11 minutes. He had 8 points on 3 of 4 shooting, 1 of 1 from 3. He had 1 rebound, 2 assists, and 4 fouls. Jock was really, really bad in his first stint, but then really cleaned it up in his second stint and finished +8 because he was so good in that second piece of action. And so, they do struggle with their center play in terms of big and physical nature. They're not really playing that. They have that on their team. Goga is on the bench and has not been playing. I would be playing him. I think they really need that size and physicality, but they have not been. Their backup center has been Mo Wagner, and I might even start him and take Wendell Carter out of their rotation. He doesn't really impress me as a player, but Jock was able to really get anywhere on the floor he wanted to and kind of demolish things. And so fantastic on him to realize that advantage he had and to take advantage of it. Lastly, we're going to talk about off the bench, Jonathan Kuminga. He played 19 minutes. He had 7 points on 2 of 7 shooting, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 turnovers. Didn't record a steal or a block, but did finish -8. So, like I said, offensively, he just wasn't super efficient, wasn't super great, didn't have a ton of assists like we know he can get. The defense was pretty good. Honestly, he was pretty locked in. He caused some havoc. And rebounding wise, he's been extraordinarily helpful in his time here. And that's one of the things we needed. We were not a very good rebounding team for the majority of the year. And in the games where he's played, we've pretty much dominated the glass. And so, really fantastic stuff from him. I'm really excited from what I've been seeing in terms of his willingness to play in the team structure and things like that. And I think that, again, he's too talented of a player to project that he's going to continue to struggle this much offensively. But I do think a lot of the problem is he just does not look like he's moving in a healthy manner. Moving to the starters, I'm going to talk about CJ McCollum. So CJ had what I would call an interesting game. He played 32 minutes. He had 9 points on 3 of 14 shooting and 1 of 7 from 3 with 2 rebounds and 3 assists with only 1 turnover. If I just read that stat line to you, you would probably say he played horrible. I disagree with that. I have been very, very critical of CJ McCollum in his time so far with the Hawks, but I thought tonight he was extremely giving of himself. He took 14 shots, but at the end of the day, that's not a ton for a starter playing 30 minutes. He didn't make a lot of them. A lot of them were difficult shots, but some of them were things he would usually make, and that happens. But I didn't have any fault with him in terms of him taking a hostage possession or anything like that. He gave himself defensively. He helped a lot with boxing out players that he had no responsibility boxing out. He had a steal and a block and finished his second game best, plus 20. So, again, I talk about this all the time, but when you're able to affect those 5 pillars, you're going to win your minutes, whether or not you shoot the ball well or not. And that's what CJ McCollum did. He played fantastic tonight. He did not shoot the ball fantastic tonight. And that's okay because we were able to win his minutes because he played fantastic. Moving on, we're going to talk about Onyeka Okongwu. So Onyeka played 37 minutes. He had 15 points on 5 of 12 shooting, 2 of 6 from 3. Had 7 rebounds, 4 assists, only 1 turnover. Had a block and finished +4. He played well, helped the ball move, but it was a little bit of a rough game from him, especially in terms of the touch. Usually he shoots the ball better, and he had a couple of looks that he would almost always make, and they didn't go in. And that's okay, but I think that was kind of what hindered his ability to have like a truly upper level game. He also was kind of mirroring minutes with Paolo, and they were better with Paolo on the floor tonight, especially because of the way the whistle he was getting. And so that hurt his ability to have a great plus minus, but he still finished +4. Moving on, we're going to talk about Dyson Daniels. So Dyson played 36 minutes. He had 15 points on 6 of 9 shooting, 0 of 1 from 3. It was an ugly one. He had 12 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 turnovers. He had a steal and a block and finished +7. He was on the floor at the end of the game when they made that little run. Kind of negatively affected his plus minus, but he played fantastic. He was everywhere, on the floor, stealing everything, stepping stuff away, causing turnovers, causing havoc, scoring in the flow of the game, getting rebounds, getting assists, not turning the ball over, being Dyson Daniels. And it was wonderful to watch. So congratulations, man. Keep playing that way, and I will never have to say anything negative about you, and I really hope that's the case. Sorry about that after a little technical difficulties. Now we're going to talk about Jalen Johnson. So Jalen, he had 37 minutes on 24. He had 24 points on 10 of 19 shooting, 2 of 6 from 3, 15 rebounds, 13 assists, only 4 turnovers, a steal, and finished +12. He was absolutely sensational. Destroyed everything that, everything they wanted to do. He was absolutely unstoppable. And I look at the national media, and they're starting to give him his flowers. But at the end of the day, a lot of people still look at Paolo Banchero like he was the first pick, and Jalen like he was the 20th pick. Well, let me tell you, with what you want from Paolo Banchero, you actually get from Jalen Johnson. He is significantly better than Paolo at this point. And so I look at this and I say, put the NBA on notice every single time we play them. He dominated and Paolo did not. I know Paolo got to the free throw line a lot, but it still did not matter. Jalen looked like a superstar, looked like an MVP, and Paolo looked like just another guy. And so I am extremely excited for that. And I love what I saw from Jalen Johnson tonight. And lastly, we're going to talk about Nickeil Alexander-Walker. So Naw played 37 minutes. He had 41 points on 12 of 21 shooting, 9 of 14 from 3, 7 rebounds, 5 assists with only 3 turnovers. He had 2 steals and finished plus 27 in the game. He was unstoppable. He was a revelation. He was everything we could ask for from a player tonight. And I've been talking about these 5 pillars. These 5 pillars of statistical importance that you need to win, he gives you them every single night. And gives them to you in a way that no other point guard is able to give you. And it's one of the reasons he is extremely, extremely valuable and on a good contract. I look at this and I say, it's amazing to me that Nickeil Alexander-Walker is able to, as a point guard, affect the rim defensively as much as he does and get to the rim as much as he does. And also, it amazes me how well he rebounds every single night, being able to, draw in these rebounds, collect these rebounds, and also being able to box out players he has no business boxing out just by giving the effort, just by being there, just by putting his body on the line. He picks up 94 feet. He disrupts their shooting percentages. He shoots a good percentage himself. He creates assists. He creates turnovers. He gives you everything you need as a player. And we have him on the mid-level exception. And that is really exciting for the future. And I love thinking about where this team will go with him as one of our players. So moving forward, we have the Dallas Mavericks on Wednesday. We got them there because we already had them at home. This is a team we are better than them. We should beat them. We should continue the streak and make it 11 games. We should continue to put the NBA on notice that, hey, we're here. And you should be afraid of what the Atlanta Hawks have to offer. With that being said, please like, comment, and subscribe here on the YouTube and on the podcast. Let me know any questions you have. I'm extremely excited with where this team is going. I think that we are kind of showing the NBA, hey, we are one of those teams you have to be worried about. And that I love to see. I haven't really felt that way since 2021. And so, that being said, let me know if you feel the same way. Share the podcast with a friend. Hopefully they continue to, support the Hawks as well and see the kind of wonderful output we're having. Hit me up on all the socials. It's at Atlanta Sports District, at ATL Sports District. And I just really, I'm elated by the output we're putting on the court right now. We played so well tonight, dominated in every facet of the game. Let's see if we can do that on Wednesday. And above everything else, I hope you have a great day.